Seth, we are here in emergency meeting. As you can see, guys, our American people, comrades, that we are really not prepared for this, but we're doing this for you, despite the embarrassment.
Yep. The embarrassment will be unbearable.
Unbearable.
Yeah, I had to go for it.
Not prepared at all. But all right, Seth, let's give them what they came for here. They want to update on what the Trump Seth said not use the HELL word. So I want what the heck is going on in this country right now.
So,
Seth, give us an update of what the heck's going on.
so an update is there are plenty of rumors and evidence of cheating by
Yeah,
the Biden campaign, or at least people that support Joe Biden himself.
yeah. Let's get it straight. On election day, me and Seth are at my house at 2 o'clock in the morning. Trump on Fox News has an 80% chance of winning Michigan and Wisconsin. When we go to bed, it's when they tell us they're going to pause the counting. A lot of Trump's lawyer team goes home and goes, well, they're going to pause anyway, so they'll go home. And then Trump, gives a speech at 2:30. He goes, yeah, we're winning, and all of a sudden, as soon as it looks like we're going to win, they pause the counting. We just don't want mysterious votes to appear around 4 o'clock. 2 hours later,
Yep.
mysterious votes appear at 4 o'clock.
And you ask us,
That's
where's the proof? Well, if you look at Steven Crowder's YouTube channel, there's the proof. And if you need a link to the video, I have it. Kaysen has it. We can get it to you. Just let us know if you want it.
Yeah, Detroit, Michigan's unbelievable. Trump lawyer has it on video. She pulls up there in the back of the
Now,
building.
wait. Let's make sure they know this. It's not an actual Trump lawyer. It's a person that is a lawyer and a Trump supporter.
Yeah, for the Trump team. And
Yeah,
she got
there's
video
like
to the Trump team.
there's
And
like a
she
group
pulls
of
up,
lawyers that call themselves lawyers for Trump.
yeah, she pulls up the back of the building, and there's this van with all these mysterious boxes that look like ballots. Would usually be a ballot box.
Yeah, ballot
And he
boxes.
puts them in a wagon and carries them through the back of the building. There's no security. No one stopped him.
Like a children's wagon too.
Yeah, children's wagon.
It's,
Walks
it's
to the
weird.
back of the building, not suspicious at all. Gets in. No one stops him. So then she drives around to the front, uses her pass to get into the lobby. She's not allowed into the counting area, of course not. But to watch what's going on in there, she gets in there, and they're not supposed to be counting. She has it on video. They're still counting when they lied and told us they wouldn't be counting. They have people with big Santa sacks going in. I mean, big bags. They have coolers. Everyone's going in with something, and every single cooler or anything like that is big enough to hold some ballots. Every single one of them.
Yeah. Like you see suitcases, coolers, sacks, boxes go in and out of this room where they're counting the ballots. And you go,
Yeah, no,
well,
absolutely no security.
yeah, no security's checking any of this that we can see, nor the person that Steven Crowder interviewed that got all of this on video. Again, if you need the link to the video, we have it to disperse.
That's right. And then you go and look at Philadelphia. Well, let's go back there. And then they start the next morning boarding up the windows so no one can look in.
Yeah, they put all these poster like boards and stuff in front of the windows. That's not fraudulent acting at all. Like if you listen, here's the thing. They say, "Oh, Trump is the one that wants all of this chaos." Trump said at the beginning, he said, "We need to count all the votes in daylight. We don't need to take breaks. We don't need to stop. We need to just count them as soon as we get them on election day. We
Hey,
can't."
like the Dems have been saying, count the vote. Count the vote. Why are we pausing? Why
Yeah.
are we pausing? Count the vote.
I
Like
mean,
the
going
Democrats
back to
have
the
been saying.
story of election night, right?
Yeah.
I'm at your house until about 2:15, 2:30. Then I leave because we hear they're going to pause the vote. Pause the count,
Yep.
excuse me. I go home. It's like 3:30 whenever I lay down to go to bed. Steven Crowder stops his live stream. The Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's news thing, stops their live stream. And so I'm like, well, everybody's going to sleep. They actually, I guess, did stop the vote, or the counting.
The perfect time to attack.
Exactly. So everyone stopped their live streams. And then the next morning, and what is it? It's like 90, 80% Trump, for Michigan and Wisconsin, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to bed, and there's a high possibility or probability that Trump's going to win the election. I go to bed at 3:30. I wake up at 9. And I'm like, oh, let me see what's going on with the election. I'm sure Trump's won by now. And then both of those states are blue. And nobody knows why. I immediately checked Twitter, and it's like everyone woke up at the same time I did and started posting on there, how did these states turn blue?
Exactly. That's the question. How did they turn? What happened when they paused the count? That's what we're going to be investigating, and that's what's probably going to be heading to the Supreme Court.
Yep. And if you...
Unless to mention the 138,000 ballots found for Biden, all of them Biden, 100% for Biden, not one for Trump, not one for the independent.
Now, Kaysen, you can't just throw around false accusations like that. According to Snopes, that's not true.
Yeah, of course, not the fact. Liberal Bill Gates ran fact checkers. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not like we have evidence of it with screenshots on phones or anything that you can ask anyone for.
Yeah, or look at the chart and see where Wisconsin and Michigan just exponentially shoot up all of a sudden. Minutes.
That's my favorite chart I've ever seen. Like they're neck and neck. Here's Trump, here's Biden, then all of a sudden, whoop. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, it didn't happen the whole day until that little 5-minute clip yesterday or 2 days ago in the morning.
Yeah,
And now let's move on to Pennsylvania, where in Philadelphia you have Eric Trump and the Trump team. They win the court to go inside and see what's going on, to be able to go within 6 feet of the ballot counting process. So when they get in there, the barrier has been moved for them and in compliance, but the ballot counting machines have been moved to the back of the building.
Yeah, and I remember Rudy Giuliani talking about it. He's like, if we can't watch the process, then the process can become fraudulent. Even if they're doing it legally, the fact that there's nobody being able to watch the process makes it become potentially fraudulent off of just that basis.
If you're not hiding anything, why are you trying to hide something?
I mean, the perfect example of that, going back to Detroit, is the fact that they're not letting anybody in, and they put poster boards in front of the windows. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, if you don't have anything to hide, if you're doing it truthfully without fraud, why are you doing so much effort in order to hide all of this?
Exactly. Why are you lifting these heavy ballot machines from one side of the room to the other side of the room just so they can't see what's going on?
Yeah, and they actually, I read on Twitter, I don't remember who posted it, but they said that they're actually fighting that, like trying to appeal that what's it called? Basically the reasoning, right? Like the results of the court ruling. The court ruling, that's what it's called. Yeah. They're trying to appeal the court ruling. And so they actually apparently paused the counting while they appeal the court because they don't want anybody in the room with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then how about Nevada changing the law like a day before the election to stop poll watchers from going in to look at what's going on?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, why are they doing that? Oh, if y'all aren't cheating, why do you care if we look?
I know.
You're not going to cheat. There's no problem, right?
Yeah.
But they're freaking out. They're freaking out, and the Biden team's now filing their own lawsuit to prevent. They filed a lawsuit in Pennsylvania to prevent Trump from going to see the mail-in ballot counting process, and it's basically an admission of guilt of cheating.
Yeah, I mean, going beyond the fact that he literally said, like, last week, that they have the most inclusive and extensive voter fraud organization in political history?
Yeah, at first I was like, he missaid that. But after today, after election day, I'm like, oh, no, he meant to say that in his own mind. He meant to.
I mean, it seems an awful lot like it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point. us.
Now we've talked about Michigan. We've talked about Pennsylvania.
How about our home state, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's perfect, right? Like
Yeah. So Atlanta, what's going on in Atlanta? We wake up this morning. Trump has a very good chance of winning Georgia. Actually, he has 100% chance of winning Georgia because he has a 30,000 vote lead. And they asked Atlanta how many votes are left. Oh, about 12,000. Oh, so even if Biden wins all 12,000, which shouldn't happen, but it's been happening. So of course we have to leave that on the table. If he wins all 12,000, Trump still wins. So it's over. Trump wins Georgia, but then around 1:00 we find out, Atlanta found more ballots. What do you know? More mail-in ballots flooding in.
Actually, I think it was close to around 25,000 this morning. And then I believe about 8:30, I could be wrong completely about the time. But kind of early in the morning, they go, oh, well, actually, there's, 60,000 ballots to count today?
It just increased throughout the day. There's more and more ballots found. Either way, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think I get confused between Michigan and Georgia because same thing happened. Same thing happens in every state.
And what's the most confusing part about that? All day long, Georgia has been at 99%. But every single county is at 100.
That's what I love about it is when you go from 90 to 91, it happens so fast, 91, 92, but we've been 99 forever. It just, no matter how many votes go in, it just stays. 99, just keeps on going.
All day yesterday, I kept watching it, waiting for something to happen, but it stayed at 94. Nothing changed yesterday. And then today it all happened.
Yeah, and then they asked the Atlanta officials, they're like, so when is this thing going to end? This was recently. They're like, well, it'll end when everybody gets their fair representation. Okay, yeah. So we don't really know the numbers. Okay, good.
Yep, and they said early this morning, they said it's going to be a while, 60,000, and then later in the day they said, oh, well, we've got around 47,000 left to go, meaning they've only done like 13,000. You go, it'll be a little later in the day. I'm like, it's already like 6 o'clock, 5 or 6 o'clock in the day. You've only done 13,000 altogether. How do you expect to get it finished? Obviously, it's not finished today yet. We'll see what happens. I haven't seen an update in like an hour and a half. So they're probably taking.
Yeah, I just looked. Trump's leading Georgia by 1,800. I expect by tomorrow morning, Georgia to turn blue.
Oh, Georgia! I mean, Joe Biden will probably be winning by tomorrow morning, around 200,000 ballots to 0 added Trump ballots. The way things have been going.
When Kemp starts the auditing process, I think he's going to find a lot of dead people who voted, and a lot of different things.
Now we haven't heard of that situation happening in Georgia as of right now.
Yeah,
Michigan is happening. Wisconsin, I feel like I've heard that's happening.
Nevada, we know it's happening.
Pennsylvania, it's happening all over the place too, according to what I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, and Nevada is happening. It's happening in droves. The ex-attorney general admitted it happened 4 years ago in Nevada, and so he thinks there'll be a lot of evidence there coming to show it happened again.
Yes, and let's talk about this for a second. The fact that there is so much evidence being pushed, not by the media, not by any mainstream media, not even Fox News. They're saying, give us the evidence, give us the evidence. The evidence is coming from the American people. That's who's getting affected by this. And they're standing out.
And what keeps pissing me off is they keep on saying, count the vote, but they keep pausing. It's like, oh, we got to pause the vote. It's like, do y'all want to count the vote or do you want to pause the vote? Which one is it? You can't have it both ways.
They wanted to count the vote until Trump started winning, and then they want to pause it.
Yeah, then they go, oh, let's pause. You got any more ballots in the back, guys? Uh-oh. That's what's going on.
Well, I mean, let's go back to Wisconsin and Michigan. We're going to count the votes. Oh, it's 2:30. Trump's winning. Okay, let's pause. We're going to meet back at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's like, this is really weird, but okay. And then what happens at 4 o'clock? Ballots get brought in. They're still counting.
Yeah, they kept counting. Counting. They lied to us. Right there.
And nobody's able to watch. They're literally breaking the law.
Yeah. Literally breaking the law
Yeah.
right in front of our eyes. And then let's talk about some of the people in Philadelphia wearing Joe Biden Harris mask. Joe
Yeah.
Harris mask.
According to what we've seen on Twitter and what we've heard from, who was it, Eric Trump?
Eric Trump had video of it when they went in.
Yep.
It's on video of them wearing
And that's also, by the way, against the law. Could I wear this hat anywhere near an election place, polling place? No. That's because it's against the law.
No, and then there's been several reports of people in Nevada going to vote, but they were turned down because apparently someone had already voted for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's happening all over the state. Now, I don't know about Georgia, but or all over the country. Isn't it also happening in Pennsylvania?
I don't know. I don't know if it's happening in Pennsylvania.
I don't know. I thought I heard. Now, I know Pennsylvania has apparently a lot of people rising from the grave, but that's about all.
Yeah. Pennsylvania had 200,000 ballots come out for Biden, 100% for Biden.
Oh, yeah, because earlier they said, well, we're not going to release any more statistics or anything. And then they released one more batch. And that one batch was 200,000 votes solely for Joe Biden.
Yeah, everything about this whole thing, there's no transparency whatsoever. No. There's just a bunch of lies and covering up. That's all this is.
Yes. Now, let's also make sure everyone knows, if Joe Biden had won fair and square, no evidence of cheating or anything, would we not like it? Yes. But would we accept it? Yes, we would.
Yes.
Because it's part of the election system of the United States of America, and it was fair. This is not fair.
This is not fair. This is absolutely not fair. If there was not any cheating, there was an 80% chance Trump would have won the election.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we would think. And, I mean, it seemed like that as of election night / Thursday or Wednesday. What day? Yeah, Wednesday morning. 3:30 in the morning before all the mysterious ballots appeared.
Yep. Before they started carrying them in Santa sacks and wagons.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how is this possible? You know?
Yeah, and then let's talk about how our First Amendment right now is under attack completely by the big tech giants. They have no regard whatsoever for freedom of speech. They have censored everything our president of the United States has posted today. Everything.
Now, let's be clear. This censorship isn't them removing the post or blocking them from people seeing them exactly. They're warnings saying, hey, the election's not over. This doesn't reflect the results of the election. This may be misleading. Yeah.
And it stops you from retweeting.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's basically a shadow ban.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, shadow bans technically, they keep people from being able to see your things. So, but yeah, basically,
but it's very similar to a shadow ban, and that's what we're saying. That every single thing is flagged, but if a Democrat posts anything, nothing gets flagged.
I mean, I saw where someone had posted a quote from somebody on Joe Biden's campaign that said, "We have won the election. We're going to defend the election." And it was not flagged as misleading, or the results of the election are not over yet, so it doesn't accurately represent the results potentially. Nothing. But everything Trump says.
One-sided.
Yes.
It's all one-sided. And that is how it is in China. That's what they do there. It's no different.
No. And even things by the actor James, I believe his name's James Woods, very conservative actor, and he's getting similar treatment, not quite as extreme, but very similar treatment to the president.
Yeah, it is terrible. The First Amendment is really the most important amendment for Americans, and it is being stripped away from us every second as we keep on going through this process.
Yeah, we're the only country in the world with a protected right of freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, and they're slowly, well, not even really slowly, they're taking it away pretty rapidly as of right now. Yeah.
It's awful. And I don't know if you saw, of course, Trump's son, Don, he said, we're going to keep fighting for the American people no matter what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do at this point. I mean, until you can prove to me that the process is done fairly, without fraud, which, by the way, the lack of transparency, one, makes me question that, and two, them not being transparent in itself a fraudulent act. So
Mm-hmm.
until you can prove to me that Joe Biden wins without fraud and with transparency, I mean, the American people just can't back that. They can't, excuse me, they can't trust it.
No. Yeah, and then also North Carolina was supposed to be done counting today. They told us yesterday they'd be done counting today, and now they come out today and go, actually, it's going to take probably 3 or 4 more days as they realize Trump was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pause the vote and take a vacation.
Yeah. I mean, who takes a vacation in the middle of a vote?
I don't know.
I mean, my mom said, now my mom was born in 1962. Growing up, she didn't have all this technology, right? Even
Yeah.
counting ballots, they didn't have the technology. She said growing up, people would stay up all night long all over the country to make sure they counted the votes on that night. That way, in the morning, it could be printed in the paper who won the election.
But just to be clear, Seth, they never took a break.
No, they didn't.
They did stay up all night.
They did, yeah. They stayed up all night, which is what I said. They didn't take breaks. If those certain people took breaks, it was a shift change to other people that would then count votes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was never, they never stopped. They might have stopped what they were doing. They might have stopped counting votes, and they might have started creating votes, but they were still working very hard, very diligently.
Oh, yeah. Now, back then, there wasn't as much fraud, but now, yes, they are. They're manipulating the American people in some way, shape, or form, I believe.
Yeah, and now let's talk about Hammer and Scorecard, right?
Yeah, now, Hammer and Scorecard are things that we just recently learned about.
Uh-huh. From the new coming FBI director, is that right?
I don't know. I know he used to be very greatly involved in the Air Force, I believe, some branch of military. Mm-hmm. He's like a first lieutenant, some sort of lieutenant. I'm not sure. I'm not in the military. I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. And then I read where apparently there might be a new FBI director coming to replace Chris Wray, and she was talking about Hammer and Scorecard 2 days ago during the election. She said this could be a big problem.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I read that article.
Yeah, because I had never heard of Hammer or Scorecard, but apparently they're used to potentially spy on people. They were originally created to try to spy on people that could be terrorists that were not citizens of the United States. Mm-hmm. But then the CIA apparently either did or at least thought about using it to spy on citizens of the United States, which is illegal, but was potentially happening during the Obama administration. Yep. From what we heard, don't know for sure if it happened or not, but apparently it can also be used to manipulate people and manipulate votes. So it can manipulate like what you see on your phone. So basically, it can try to promote Biden over Trump or the other way around, potentially. Or it can be used to change votes in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure how that works. But according to the person we listened to, that I do not remember his name right off.
Hey, Bannon.
Do you remember his name?
Bannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
he was part of the team at one point.
Okay. Anyway, yes.
Yep.
Very big problem potentially. We'll look into this more, and hopefully have more answers by the next video.
Yeah, and this isn't just an American issue. We're having this kind of problem of lack of freedoms across the world right now. Europe is having a major problem. Actually, we're better off than them at the moment. England now, it all started. I mean, I've been calling for this to happen. I've seen it. This is going to happen. At first, they start out saying we're going to send the military in to aid the police. And some of the conservatives are like, oh, I don't know about this. It's getting kind of sketchy. And the liberals are like, oh, don't worry about it. They're just here to support us. They're not going to do anything. Military on the streets, no problem. So that happens. They start arresting peaceful protesters because, you can't protest in England, supposedly a democracy.
Going back to our First Amendment rights, we're, again, the only nation with a protected freedom of speech.
Yep. But England had an unwritten rule.
unwritten rule, but not legally protected.
Yeah, right. But for the longest time, they were allowed to.
Yes.
An unwritten rule. Nothing actually protecting it, but they were allowed to.
Yes.
And now they're stopping it. And so then the military, stage 2, goes knocking on people's door, politely asking people to be tested. Even more protests, anti-lockdowns erupted then. And then the third stage now is Boris Johnson has issued a new lockdown across England for the next month because he says, we want to save Christmas. Maybe we can save it. We probably still won't save it, but maybe we'll save it. And now the military is going door to door, forcing people to be tested. So you see the 3 stages, they slowly take all freedoms away. That's what's happening.
Yes. Do you remember, or have you heard, I'm sure you've heard, about Gavin Newsom and his Thanksgiving plan? So you know who Newsom is, right?
Yep.
Who is it?
Nope, I don't.
I believe his first name.
I've heard the name.
I believe his first name's Gavin. Anyway, his last name's Newsom. He's the governor, I believe, of California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's his position. He's the governor of California. He said, first of all, Fauci and him have both said that Thanksgiving may not happen. And then he said, well, you can have Thanksgiving, have to have it outside. You cannot sing. You cannot chant, cheer, have jubilee, basically. You can't be happy.
That is not America. That is
no. You can only do it for 2 hours with like 3 different like nuclear family groups, I believe.
Yeah, they're using COVID as an excuse to control how we do things.
Yeah,
it's an excuse, is all it is. And what me and Seth have heard in our sources, and we don't know if it's true yet. We're gonna have to wait to see. There could be a deadly flu strain on the way that's way worse than COVID.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. We never know.
Yeah. What we've heard is it might be rampaging through China right now. We don't know for sure. It's not hit mainstream sources yet. We know there's been a case in Jacksonville of this very rare flu strain. And oddly enough, ironically enough, the CDC has now stopped counting flu cases today. At the same time, we learned this other information.
Yes.
Which is really ironic.
Why would you stop counting flu cases and only count for COVID? Maybe because, now this is a theory. This isn't an actual fact, but COVID and the flu are both types of coronaviruses. So what if the flu can get picked up on a COVID test and they think it's COVID and they just run with that narrative?
Because I'm tired of people saying the tests are accurate. We all know the flu test isn't accurate, and it's been around for 40 years. It only has a 60 to 70% accuracy. So you're going to tell me a test that was just created is more accurate than a flu test?
Yeah, and you've heard of, tons of people getting false positives, all of that.
Yeah. It's on Georgia Southern's website. They literally said on there's a good enough chance for a false negative or a false positive, so just treat it like you have it. They're admitting the test is not accurate.
Yeah.
On the website.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. And, going back to that point you made about they're using COVID to control us and tell, and he's like, oh, you can only have so many families, for a 2-hour period outside for Thanksgiving. Last time I checked, we're all big boys and girls, and if we're not, we have parents who are, right?
Yeah. And last time I checked, we were a democracy with freedom.
That too. But think about it. When we get the flu, when we get, pink eye, anything like that, what happens? You stay home. You get medicine and you stay home, right? Generally.
Now some people do that on their own.
Yeah, some people go out, but the general population is like, oh, I don't feel good, I'm going to stay home.
Exactly.
We don't need a governor of California to tell us what to do if you get sick.
Yeah. They want to control every part of our lives. And that's why I think now if Biden wins this and he steals this election and gets away with it, I think what's going to happen, I would be surprised if we see them steal David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler's spot too, and then in the special election, they take the Senate, House, and presidency. Let's say that happens. They take all 3. we're going to see them. I really think a good chance they're going to try to take the Washington, D.C., make it a state, Puerto Rico, make it a state, and 4 more senators, Democratic, take over the Senate forever. They've already taken over the House forever, it looks like. And then there you go. And then all the fraudulent, they're going to take over this country, make it a one-party state, and then you're going to see them probably implement a social credit system with a lot of cameras, just like China.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I could see it happening.
That's my theory on it. I'm not saying that is definite, but they like power, and if they like power, what's better than a social credit system?
Yeah. Now, going to the House for a second, I have a question for you that I don't think we've talked about in our personal conversations yet.
Yes.
So if the Democrats win the House, which looks like they probably will again, even though they did lose a lot of seats, who do you think will be the Speaker of the House? Do you think it's going to be Pelosi again or AOC?
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a battle because I remember when Pelosi was elected last time, it was close. They barely decided to go with her.
Yeah.
And this time, a lot of moderate Democrats lost to liberal Democrats, which really helped Republicans win some seats back because, moderates tend to do better than liberals. And these moderates, they're super liberal, but we're talking about super liberals versus super liberals.
True, yeah.
At this point, the Democratic Party's went so left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think AOC will become the Speaker of the House unless the Republicans decide to side with Pelosi to help the moderate Democrats.
Well, I mean, it also just kind of depends how much pull Pelosi has. Pelosi's been in politics for decades, right?
Yep.
At this point. So she's got to have a lot of favors she can cash in. She's got a lot of, networking with people. She can probably help do a lot of favors. So
yep.
It just kind of goes down to that,
Yep. But we'll see on the House issue. That's my least concern at this point.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is seeing the Supreme Court take Trump's hearings and let us have a win here because that's what we deserve. It looks like.
I mean, it seems like there's enough substantial evidence and I don't think we've even brought up Arizona with all of Arizona, Michigan, and Pennsylvania apparently have all had this problem, but it's most known in Arizona, where
Sharpie problem.
Yeah, where they go in and they go, hey, here's your ballot, fill it out with the Sharpie. And a lot of people don't
on election day, so it's mostly Trump supporters. It's only on election day this all happens.
On election day, yes. So talk to anybody you want that is knowledgeable about how elections work as of right now, and they know it's going to be a majority of Trump supporters. And so, yes, election day, they go in, get handed a Sharpie. A lot of people don't even know that the machines won't read Sharpie. But handed a Sharpie, and then apparently the machines do not read them, but the Democrats have fact-checked it and say, no, the machines can read through Sharpie bleeds and stuff, so... But I don't believe that.
No, that's some pretty high-tech equipment. I wish I had that at my house.
I mean, even the ballots themselves tell you not to use a Sharpie.
Yep, they do.
like I saw a video on Steven Crowder's live stream on Wednesday, and there's a video, I guess it was like a mail-in ballot, so someone had taken a picture of it or something, and on it says, do not use Sharpie because it will bleed through.
Exactly. And then I'll talk about the video on Hannity that was flagged by Twitter. Yet again, we can't retweet or anything like that. A video showing a guy, U.S. postal worker, literally saying, hey guys, can I go get y'all some more ballots? And they're like, yeah, actually you can. Just make sure, you don't get caught, basically. And he's like, yeah, if you see any in there, just remember, they didn't come from me, winks and walks away. Wow.
Yes, sorry. I got an alert about Eric Trump tweeting.
What'd he say?
Actually, I can't see it right now.
Okay.
My mom is the alert, and she just told me that he tweeted something, and I need to read
I'm scared it's probably Georgia turning blue. Probably.
it. I can pull that up for it real quick here.
Yeah.
On the Fox News app, because that is the news that I watch when I watch news.
Exactly.
Actually, according to this, there has been no change. So they are probably pausing the count.
Again. Yep. Again.
What happens when they pause the count, by the way? Like, what do you think happens? Do they bring in ballots and fill them out? Do they bring in already filled out ballots? Or do they find some in the closet back there behind the desk and fill them out there?
I'm going to go with D. I'm going to go with all of the above.
All the above.
There's
Yeah.
makes of a lot going on.
Seems logical. Now, all over the nation, yes, that fits. What do you think happens specifically in Atlanta? Because we haven't seen videos where they actually bring ballots. So either we're missing something, or they already have some.
I think it was either last night or the night before where they brought them in. Well, and we missed it.
Yeah,
because remember, Michigan, we barely caught it. We got lucky with that lawyer going back.
Yes.
And I don't think we got that lucky in Georgia.
Now, talking about Georgia, I have seen a video, and I can neither confirm nor deny that it's this election, and I sent it to you as well. But based off of what I saw, it looked like it was a video of someone counting ballots in Atlanta for this election cycle, and he flicked off a ballot, crumbled it up, and threw it away.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely throwing Trump ballots away. We can't prove that.
And I have heard other stories where people have seen them rip up ballots and stuff like that.
In Atlanta, yeah. This is Atlanta.
Yep, in basically just Atlanta.
Yep, and that's definitely against the law. But anyway, let's not worry about that, right?
Yeah, because nobody cares that it's against the law. You can wear you can wear Biden-Harris things and not get arrested. You can not have transparency and be perfectly fine. Yep. When you break the law as a Democrat, it's pretty nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's like they teach political science guys in college. 99.9% of criminals never get caught, so you better cheat. Okay.
And then what do they tell you right after that? Oh, go vote for the Democrat.
Yeah, go ahead and put in 5 ballots for him. You'll never get caught.
Yeah. Hey, if you commit a crime, you won't get caught. By the way, vote for the Democrat.
Yeah, and this all happened way before now. Remember, I remember a week or two ago when we were near the Trump rally. Remember, we heard about ballots being thrown out in Pennsylvania 2 weeks ago.
I mean, do you remember
military?
Do you remember the first debate when Joe Biden goes, "What's the big deal about the mail-in voting and the absentee ballots? They've worked for the military for decades and they've never had a problem." And then right after that, there were 9 military ballots in the trash can that were all marked Trump in Pennsylvania.
Yep, and it's like the colleges say, only 99% get caught. That was the one that got caught. So 99% more are out there that never got caught.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I saw a video of California, I believe, where some people look like they're having bags full of ballots, and it looks like they're tossing out ballots for a certain candidate. And seeing as how this is California, I can only guess that it is Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but California never even mattered. So
also, I am extremely sorry if I am too loud because I just got a new microphone. And I don't have it adjusted yet.
Yeah, that's true. But, we're looking at, closing states here. We're looking at Nevada, Georgia, Arizona is back at swing state on CNN, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. And right now, my guess is 4 out of 5 are going to Biden because of the mass fraud going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, the Trump campaign already called Pennsylvania.
Mathematically, yeah. He you know how on Fox News, CNN, they project states because you know how they do that? They do it based off math, and mathematically, he won Pennsylvania a while ago. Now he hasn't because of the new ballots coming.
Yeah, it's called facts and evidence, and based off of facts and evidence, mathematical persuasions show and statistics show that Trump would have won Pennsylvania. and had a really good shot at 3:30 on election night, 3:30 in the morning on election night to win the entire election by a pretty large margin at that point.
Yep. And that's what the Supreme Court's going to look at. What happened on election night at 4 o'clock?
That's what we all want to see,
That's what we want to find.
And there are many Democrats. Well, I don't know many, but I do know that I've heard quite a few Democrats sit there and go, "This just doesn't add up. How does Trump win by such a large margin in Florida and Ohio and even Texas, and then not win Michigan or Wisconsin?"
Yeah,
it doesn't add up.
And then also what doesn't add up is the fact that Joe Biden has 100,000 more votes than Ossoff, the senator. I think his name's John Ossoff, the senator in Georgia. 100,000 more, and the ballots are still not done coming in. But at the same time, Trump has the same amount of ballots, roughly, as David Perdue.
Yeah.
So where are these ballots coming from?
So you sit there and go, well, you could have Democrats not vote for Perdue or Ossoff, or I think there's an independent, not vote for them either, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at it and you're like, well, that doesn't make sense for that many people to not vote, one. And two, if you're just manufacturing ballots for a presidential candidate, you're not going to spend the time to mark everyone else on that list. You're just going to go through them and mark Joe Biden 100,000 times to get the votes that you need to win.
Yeah. And if it was that way, there's way more of a chance of people voting for John Ossoff and then Donald Trump on the same ticket.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Democrats stay with their party on that end and then they'll vote for Trump. That's how it's always been happening with the blue-collar workers. It's not been happening where you have Democrats voting for David Perdue, but then also voting for Joe Biden. That just doesn't work.
At least not. If that was to happen, we would see David Perdue above the 50% mark to not go into the runoff.
Exactly. So the math right now in Georgia is not adding up. Fishy things are going on.
I mean, the math everywhere just isn't. It doesn't look correct.
Yeah, and including Michigan and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, I think, is coming back to Trump. I think after the recounts come back to Trump. Scott Walker said there's all kind of fraudulent things going on in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
ex-governor.
And you look at it, and I've heard stories about how certain counties, the amount of votes for Trump are actually under the Joe Biden column. They flipped the actual ballots of who they are, like the totals.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how fraudulent this all is, right? Like, none of us know where this goes, but we do know that it's just all very suspicious. We don't know if this is Joe Biden himself or his supporters even. But
yeah, we don't know who is to blame here, and that's always the way the Democrats do it. They do it in a way where you can get their little henchmen, but you can't get the big guys.
I do know one person that is not to blame, even though Democrats say he's to blame, and that's Donald Trump. Why would you, if you cheat on a test, right? Why would you sit beside the person who makes zeros on every test and go, I'm going to cheat off of you because I want to lose?
Yeah.
Like, if you cheat in your life, you're not going to cheat to get worse.
Yeah. And then we see also in all liberal counties in all the swing states, Trump outperformed 2016 and Biden underperformed Hillary Clinton in 2016. But except for 4 cities, Atlanta, Phoenix, Arizona, Detroit, Michigan, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In those 4 cities, Biden ridiculously outperformed 2016, and Trump ridiculously underperformed 2016, despite the jump in Hispanic and blacks. You explain what's going on, and those are the 4 cities in league for corruption and voter fraud.
So let's go to this narrative that the Democrats always try to push up. Trump is a racist. He's a white supremacist, right?
Yeah.
Every poll that I've looked at right now, Trump has gotten more minority votes than Joe Biden. Joe Biden has got more white male votes than Trump.
Yes.
Explain to me if Trump is the white supremacist, unlike Joe Biden, which
the Democratic Party has become the party of white racists and big tech giants. That's what they've become.
Yeah, and if you want to sit there and go, well, Joe Biden is not racist. Okay, well, let's look at it, right? He's been at least tried to become president 2 other times. One of them he had a dropout for sure because he was racist.
Yep.
Right? And then you go, well, how's his career in politics been? Well, he helped write the crime bill, I forget exactly which one, that ended up putting minorities, specifically African Americans, in jail more than they should be. One.
He called them predators.
Yes, a racial jungle.
He also was friends with KKK members.
Friends gave eulogies at KKK members' funerals, by the way. Basically said...
and don't forget, he has the power to determine whether you're black or not.
Yes.
You're not black if you don't vote for him. All of a sudden, you have become another color.
No, it's not even if you don't vote for him. It's even if you had to think between who to vote for. You're not black.
Yeah. They like to categorize people into groups, and it's racist. Because I learned at college that's racist, even though they do it.
Yeah. I mean, when you categorize people in groups, it's racist, right? Like, you're not supposed to do that. Every time I've ever heard growing up, hey, if you judge people based on their skin color, that's being racist. But now it's like we have to judge people based off their skin color.
Yeah. And when I got emotional about this election was thinking about all the Cubans that escaped from Cuba and risked their life to get here, and they've been Democratic, and then they switched to Republican just because they don't want communism. And they switched in Miami-Dade in droves, despite all the cheating. They overcome all the cheating to lift Florida to Trump victory. And just so they're basically going to have to go, well, I guess we got to leave the country because we're going to go communism again.
Yes.
As soon as we got here, we got to turn around and leave again.
So, yes, that applies to Cubans.
It's sad.
That applies to Cubans. That applies to North Korean people that have bravely made it out of North Korea and decided to come to America. It applies to Russians because of the censorship in Russia and everything. And then it applies to someone very special to you. She falls under this category. Your fiance.
Yep, it does.
Who was Chinese.
Yep, she escaped China as a baby from she was thrown out. Because they're evil. China is evil. It's a communist regime, and these crazy liberals want to bring that here. I just don't understand.
Yeah, China forces you to only have one child or something, maybe 2.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was, and that's how she ended up here. Thank God she ended up here and not there.
Yeah, she was adopted here. Great.
Because women over there really don't have much rights.
No, they don't, man.
Ironically, even though the Democrats want to make us like them.
Oh, talk about ironic to do with women's rights. How about the women that were on the Republican ticket that got defeated by Democrat male people?
Yeah.
Because the Republican women did not have the support of the Democrats.
Yep. Even though they're women, and everybody's putting categories supposedly, and you're supposed to vote based off category alone.
Yes. I mean, look, isn't it Maine, Susan Collins? She won her election against a Democratic male, I believe.
Barely.
Yeah. He conceded, and then all of the Democrats got really mad because she won. She's a woman. You're trying to say, oh, women's rights. And I was looking at Georgia. Someone tweeted about Georgia, and they were, liberal, or at least on the Democratic side of things. And they go, oh my gosh, Georgia is about to upset the entire world by turning blue. Thank God for Georgia turning blue. And in the comments, every single person in there goes, It's because of the African American women in America voting. That's what it is. What about the African American woman? I completely have drawn a blank on her name. I think Kimberly. I cannot remember her last name to save the life of me. She's an African American woman who was running, and they voted against her.
Yep.
Like, explain that.
It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. I don't want to talk about Georgia because that's our state, and it's embarrassing what's going on in Atlanta. It's a disgrace. They're destroying the validity of our election system.
Yeah, the validity,
and they don't care. They don't want to ask for forgiveness. They're just going to do it.
Yeah, they will, and we have to hold them accountable because they've done this. They've maybe not this, but they've done things over decades that we've let them get by with, and that's
let's talk about
this moment.
I just realized Wisconsin. How about the counties there that have there was that false misleading statement about Wisconsin's technically statewide registered voters going higher than that. Technically, it did not. I mean, it ended up with like 90%, which is mathematically almost virtually impossible. But their counties, individual counties, some of them had 103, 104% voter turnout. Explain that, Seth.
So, first of all, if you talk to a Democrat, that is not true. Which is fine, right?
Because it's on Real Clear Politics, by the way. Real Clear Politics, a liberal website.
Yes. So, but if you want to talk about it, right? If they want to go, well, that is just not true. Okay. Let's look at the real numbers according to them, okay?
Yeah.
95% voter turnout. I know that voter turnout this election is supposedly, and I believe it to be higher than previous elections because so many people are saying go out and vote on both sides, which is fantastic. I encourage people to go out and vote no matter who you vote for.
Yes.
But how many times in American politics or any political arena anywhere has somebody gotten over 90% voter turnout?
Never. It never happens. Ever.
No, I mean, it's okay if it does, but 90+%.
But that's why the propaganda was telling us for weeks, get ready for a higher turnout, because they wanted everybody to think that was going to happen so they could get away with it.
Yeah, which is fine if it's a higher turnout, but
how did they know? How did they prophesize that?
Because of that's understandable. The amount that they put on social media, I mean, everywhere, right? Everyone was getting tired of go out and vote, go out and vote. Great.
You look at NBA, basketball, vote. Every time you look at Google, vote. Every time you look at NFL, vote.
Anything.
And these are all the rich doing that. The rich is the one putting that out there, and it's clear what they're trying to do. It's very clear what they're trying to do.
Yes, I mean, which is fine. Telling people to go out and vote.
Yeah, technically it's fine, but they politicize sports because that's just how much they want to win. They politicize everything.
I mean, how many times? It depends on who's saying it, obviously. Trump, any conservative voice tells you to go vote. You're like, oh, they want me to vote for Trump. But that's not that often because when you have big tech companies like Facebook, Instagram, which Facebook owns, by the way, Twitter, Google telling you to go out and vote, and then they silence conservative voices, it's pretty obvious who they want you to vote for. And I get, frankly, really tired of them telling me to vote when I know who they're trying to tell me who to vote for.
Yeah, and that's what I saw at Pennsylvania Attorney General. He had one of those NBA masks on that said vote. I'm like, yeah, I know who you support.
I mean, that's the guy that said before any ballots were even count in Pennsylvania, he said there's no way Trump's going to win Pennsylvania, no matter what.
Yeah, he's not going to let him win. Yeah.
No. And that alone, you being the Attorney General, Secretary of State saying something similar, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
These are the people who handle elections. Like, they help with election handling. Maybe not immediately. They may not be the primary source, but they do have an impact in it. They do somehow have something to do with the logistics of it.
Yeah, and that's not okay. Anything going on right now is not okay. But this is all going to come to the Supreme Court. Trump's going to lose. We're going to Me and Seth expect Georgia to turn blue, which will give Biden the election the first round. We're going to have a second round, probably in the lower courts, and a third round in the Supreme Court, probably.
I mean, okay, let's look at this. Even if
Things far from over.
Even if Georgia doesn't turn blue, let's just say it doesn't, just to say it, for this, doesn't turn blue.
Nevada.
Biden can technically ask for a recount at that point, but Nevada's going to turn blue. I highly suspect Pennsylvania will turn blue with all the potential cheating that I expect to happen there.
Yeah, but all the potential extra absentee ballots just pouring in.
Yes, all of a sudden we have more absentee ballots than we know what to do with.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, and then how about Nevada extending their deadline on how many absentee ballots can come in?
Yeah, no, and at satellite locations where nobody's monitoring it.
2 days after the election, they extend the deadline.
Yeah, and it's not that they extended the deadline to 2 days after the election. 2 days after the election happened, they have extended the deadline further. So it's more like 6
to November 10th, I think, November 10th or 12th. I don't remember.
Yeah, so it's like 7 days after the election.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and that guy from Clark County, he is so corrupt. That's what he is. He's corrupt, and he was even there. They asked him a question. He was like, "Yeah," he's like, "If y'all wanted to get us for voter fraud, y'all should have called like 2 days before the election." He's like basically saying it's your fault for not catching us fast enough.
I love when politicians say, people that voted me in, you should be smarter than that. You should be smarter than to trust me. You should be smarter than trying to catch me at my game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're mocking you. Like, you voted me in, but you worked for me, not I work for you. Politicians are public servants. They work for the people. And that's something that a lot of American people don't remember.
Yeah.
Like today, we called Governor Kemp's office because we were worried about voter fraud in our election in Georgia, right?
And what'd they say, Seth? What'd they say?
They said it was absentee ballots that they were coming in with wrong signatures or something. And I'm like, guys, like, this is the problem. Like, tell me for sure that everything is safe. Give me, okay, first of all, side note, or not really side note, but it adds to it. Trump spoke today.
Yes.
In his speech today, what was today's date? Thursday, November the 5th. He spoke for the first time publicly since the election.
Yep.
He said in Georgia, they were not allowing them to watch the actual counting of ballots.
Yeah, they didn't allow them in any of the swing states to watch.
No, not in the Democrat major city Democrats.
Not
counties.
The 4 cities I listed: Phoenix, Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia. You were not allowed in.
No, you
or Nevada. But Nevada wasn't even a battle because that state made it illegal from day one to watch.
Yes, so it's just ridiculous, and they're breaking the law, and nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cares.
And yesterday in Pennsylvania, I think they said around noon, it was supposed to be sometime today, Thursday, that they were supposed to be finished, because as of Wednesday, they said we're 50% of the way through on absentee votes, but we still have millions and millions more. When you have millions and millions more, but only 50% left of absentee ballots, and you've already done the election day ballots, I feel like there's something wrong there.
Oh, yeah. Either that statement he made was he's just an idiot, or that statement's true and something's going on.
Yeah, I mean, he might be, over-exaggerating the amount of people.
But that's really stupid considering you're election official, and you're supposed to be very accurate in something that's serious.
Yes. And remember, they were supposed to be finished today, according to them, as of Wednesday.
Yeah.
They're not
Yep.
finished today.
They keep on pushing it off. They're like, "Oh, we'll be done in a few hours." Never get done.
And I guarantee.
Remember, they said Georgia. They said we'll be done by this afternoon. It's like what time is it right now with them?
Well, technically, it's now Friday.
It's the next day.
It's 1:30.
They're still not done.
They're
still not done in Georgia.
This is a long video. I just realized, but that's okay. We'll get through.
Still not done in Georgia.
No, but and how Georgia's been 99% like all day. Like explain that one to me.
It just keeps going. It keeps going because like if you divide the number out, I think you get a certain amount of votes per percentage point. But that keeps on increasing because 99% just stays. And everything keeps going an infinity, it seems like, until Biden wins and then stop.
Yeah. I'm not doing the math for it. I don't have the time for that. You can do the math for it if you want to. But all I know is they go, we got 20,000 more ballots left. It's at 99%. We're almost done. Oh, wait. Now we have 60,000 more ballots. It's still 99%. Where every single county in the state of Georgia is at 100% accounted for.
If you go look at the map, it says 100% done in every single county in Georgia, yet the ballots somehow keep coming in Fulton County. Even though on the map it says they're done.
Yeah, like earlier it said there were like 7,000 ballots for Fulton County. And like 40, I believe 47 overall. A lot of them were from Savannah as well.
And all the ballots that are coming in are approximately, I calculated, around 76% Joe Biden.
Yes, which is statistically very hard to do.
Yep. Especially considering there's military ballots in this, supposedly, and old people ballots in this, supposedly.
Yes, so if you look at it, 76%, whatever. Didn't you say about 76?
Yeah.
Okay, so 76% of the ballots for Joe Biden. You go, well, that's understandable. Joe told people to go mail-in vote, which is fine. So we're expecting a large percentage for Joe.
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like the problem is not the percentages. I think you could say, okay, 76-25. The problem is, where are these votes coming from?
Yes.
They're not legal votes. Where the hell are they coming from?
Yeah,
no one knows.
We have.
You ask anybody, I don't know. They just come, they appear. Someone goes abracadabra, they're there. 40,000 there. No one knows where they come.
And you were saying it has to be 46% Joe Biden to get these numbers according to your math, which for all we know could be wrong, but we're going to take it that is correct, right?
Yeah.
You have elderly to count into this, which generally vote conservatively, and you have military, which at least over like 30% will probably vote conservatively. And so that alone would probably bring it to less than 70. I would think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
At least
that's why I don't want to argue in that point, because that technically can be argued. There's nothing to prove there. So I think we got to stick with let's count legal votes. The Democrats can't handle when you say that. They hate that word, legal.
Yeah,
they hate that word with a passion.
Legal people, legal immigrants. They can't stand
I say the word legal, they go racist. Racist, he's cheating. Legal.
Law and order, that's a problem. Legal immigrants, that's a problem. Legal ballots, that's a problem.
Morals, God, anything like that, they freak out. I'm offended.
Integrity, that's a problem.
Dignity, that's a problem. Love for our country, that's a problem.
No, they don't understand why you would ever love America.
That's a problem. Let's change it. The word police, that's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems.
Yeah. All they know are problems. They don't know solutions. They don't know happiness. Statistically speaking, Republicans are a lot happier than Democrats on average. Now, today, maybe not, but generally... This week may be an outlier of that study.
We are pretty mad that this election has been stolen from us. I think we all should be.
There's a lot of people. I know many friends of mine. I don't know how you feel about it, which ironically, you're my best friend, or at least one of them, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I do know many of my friends are texting me constantly because they know we're looking into this. We're trying to stay up to date more than any of our other friends.
I got people texting me, asking me updates all the time.
Yeah, and so I have friends that are texting me going, what's it look like? Are we winning? Are we losing? And they're completely freaking out. I'm like, don't worry. That there are lawsuits out. There are recounts to be had. There are investigations.
In those lawsuits, they're supposed to stop counting, but they're not.
No, and there's investigations to be had. This is a long election that we're about to be a part of.
Most likely, yeah.
We thought
there's a process.
We thought it was wrapping up, but it seems like this is going to take a very long time.
On election night, it seemed like it was over. Trump won. I'll go to sleep, wake up in the morning, it'll be over. And then all that happens, and we're in for a long run.
Yeah. I mean, when you have people saying we're going to stop counting, and then they don't, that's already, as you would say if you played the game Among Us, suspicious, you know?
And then with Twitter censoring anything other than what they say, that's also suspicious.
Yeah. I mean, you say, here's evidence. Oh, that's suspicious. Didn't you say you were watching CNN earlier when Trump was talking and they cut it off?
Yeah, they did. That actually wasn't CNN, it was MSNBC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as soon as he said the words, we are going to only count legal ballots, it cut off like that.
Yeah, because then you called me and you're like, I can't watch it right now because I'm in an area where I can't watch Fox News. Can you just like play it really loudly on the TV through the phone?
Yeah, they cut him off because apparently I think what's going to happen is Twitter's going to be like, if the word legal is in your post, we're going to have to start censoring you.
If you want to actually follow the law, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, when is following the law ever the bad thing?
Yeah. But all right, Seth. Let's end this closing statement, Seth.
Closing statements is we're not done. We have a lot more to talk about, a lot more research to be done. We're going to actually try to post more videos than what we did last time with one.
It took an attack on our country, but hey, we're here.
Yeah, we're back, guys, and we're hopefully going to be here for at least another week.
But don't lose hope, Americans. I don't want you to think that you're the minority. These polls were rigged. Most likely, about 60% of Americans still love this country. About 60% in reality voted for Donald J. Trump, most likely, despite what the polls say, because they're all completely wrong. And this is a long legal process. Remember, we have a majority on the Supreme Court, and there's a good chance that Trump can pull through this and give us a victory here, and we can start working on draining the swamp more than ever.
Yes. Now, don't forget, like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments.
And also reshare this video to fight censoring against our First Amendment, because we will most likely be censored.
Of course. That's very, very important. Also, don't forget to comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if there's anything we can add to these videos or in terms of information, any evidence of collusion, any evidence of cheating, and we'll look into it. We'll pass it on to more important people if we need to.
Yep.
All right, is that it?
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.